Alright everybody, I am back with a little app tutorial, and today we're looking at Merlin. More specifically, if you guys are interested in getting into birds but you're a little overwhelmed by how many calls and songs and things you need to learn, Merlin just updated their Sound ID option on their app, so you can as simply as turn on your microphone and it'll identify birds as they hear them. Let's take a look. Alright, so just in a couple minutes we've gotten the sonograph is at the top, and this is looking at the patterns of the sounds, so we can start to see the patterning of my voice, which is kind of funny. But we have a pretty good list of birds after a couple minutes, so let's stop the recording and take a look at what we found. What's super neat about the breakdown of this recording is it not only shows you the best matches. Now, this is best matches, it's not perfect. You might notice that the yellow-breasted chat has the red dot there next to its name. That means it's rare for the area. I'm guessing it misidentified a bird and called it a yellow-breasted chat. Sometimes that happens if it gets a partial call recognition, and it could have just been a different bird off in the distance or a partial call of something in the distance. So let's say, for instance, we liked the list of everything except that yellow-breasted chat. We aren't entirely sure. So if you do the drop down, this will be what comes up if you were to look up in Merlin this specific bird. So it has all of the different calls and songs depending on the subspecies, as well as whether it's a song or a call, or some birds have flight songs. So you can play those songs. Interesting. Okay. So this is good to know. It could have been a yellow-breasted chat. We'll have to take a look at the range in a moment, and we can take a look at that shortly. But what's also super cool is you can click on the specific bird, and it can give the timing in which it identified. So we can play from that spot where it heard a yellow-breasted chat. Could even be from the very beginning, and see at around 5 seconds what call they called the yellow-breasted chat. And it's pretty quiet, so we might need to put this recording on a computer or something along those lines, and you are able to share those recordings. The file sizes are very large, though, so if you wanted to, for instance, share with a friend on Facebook Messenger, you get a very angry message from Facebook saying that the file is too large, so you won't be able to do that. But now that you have this recording saved, you can go back to it anytime on your sound recording list, and take note that this does take up space in your internal storage on your phone, so be sure to use that space wisely. If you have a recording that you don't necessarily want to keep and you maybe just wanted to hold on to it to share with a couple friends and then delete it, that's fine too. So let's take a look at this yellow-breasted chat. So we can go to the Explore Birds section. Not start identification, because that is kind of like a dichotomous key that gives you an idea of, based on the coloration of the bird, where you found it, and other characteristics like that, you can tell what kind of bird it is. But we know what bird we're looking for. So we will go to yellow-breasted. Oops. Okay. The problem here is I do not have the package that has yellow-breasted chat. So, because we are looking at birds that are likely in Waterford, Wisconsin, which is weird because we're in Beloit, I suspect that we might need to download a North America bird pack, and that is fairly large in size and might take a little while. So, for reference, if you're interested, there are different packages that you are able to install, and I do have US and Canada. How interesting. Cool. Okay. So for some reason, the yellow-breasted chat does not want to show up, but that happens. And that is a-okay. Usually if that happens, it is possible that it just misidentified the bird, which happens because the yellow-breasted chat sounds like, for instance, a white-breasted nuthatch. So the algorithm isn't perfect, obviously. It's just a good way of getting 95% correct. As you saw, we had a good number of species that were positively identified. So that is the gist of Sound ID. I highly recommend it to anybody who is interested in learning about birds and is a little overwhelmed by how many birds there are. And there are a lot of them out here at Big Hill Park. So get your microphones out, start hiking our trails, and see how many birds you can start to get to know, because once you start hearing them, you cannot stop hearing them, because it is that time of year when the birds are crazy, especially right after a rain, which is where we are at right now in Beloit. So have fun and happy trails.